Hey there guys and welcome back. On this week's show, we're making a simple robot marionette.
Well, I know that we have just recently finished a 4-part series on making a marionette, and that was a little extensive on making that puppet. But my granddaughter showed a very large interest in playing with this and potentially making her own. So that's what we're going to do today, a simpler version that is child-friendly to work on here in the shop. But before we bring the star of our show out here to complete the project, we need to do some prep work, and we're going to kind of make a kit of a marionette. So it all starts off with some scrap stock from the wood rack. Well, over at the table saw, I have cut the main components for our marionette, and this is going to be like a robot marionette. So I have some scrap pieces. This was all just scrap in the rack. I have 4 pieces of beech. One will be the head, one will be the body, and 2 will be the hands. And these are 1 3/4 by 1 3/4 by 1 3/4 for the head, 1 3/4 by 1 3/4 by 3 inches for the body. The hands are 1-inch cubes. Now the feet I have cut from some scrap cherry, and these are 1 3/8 of an inch cubed. Guys, that is all the parts for the actual marionette that we need. We still have the controls to do, but what we're going to do is we're going to mark for some holes. Now, I'm going to let her do the drilling for the most part, with the exception of possibly the feet and the hands. They will require counterbores. So the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to mark the center on each one of our hands and feet to give us our drilling position. Well, over here at the drill press, I have our 1 3/8 cubes in here for our feet. I have set my stop and my fence so that I am drilling right in the middle of this cube, and using a 7/8 inch diameter Forstner bit, we're going to drill a hole approximately halfway down through our block. And now, without changing any of the setup on your fence or your stop, we're going to change our bit size to 3/16 of an inch, and we are going to drill a through hole in each one of our foot blocks. Now we are going to do the exact same thing on our 2 hand pieces. The only difference is that our Forstner bit hole for these ones are going to be at 1/2 an inch in diameter. The through hole is still going to be the 3/16 of an inch. Okay, and that would be the prep work on the hands and the feet done. So we can put those aside for now and turn our attention to the body and the head. Now, what we need to do at this point is we need to mark for some holes. So in the head, in the top and the bottom, we're going to place a center mark for drilling. As well, on the body, on the top, we're going to place a center mark, and on the sides, we're going to place on one side a center mark along the length, and then 3/8 of an inch in from each end, we're going to place a mark and center punch that. So in the bottom of the head and in the top of the body, I have drilled a 3/4 inch diameter, 1/4 inch deep Forstner bit hole, and I have also cut a 3/4 inch length of 3/4 inch dowel, and this will eventually serve as the neck of our robot marionette. Now guys, the reason that I drilled these holes, I know how much she loves drilling. She's going to do this drilling for the arms and for the legs, but you have to know your audience here. You have to know your coworker, we'll call her. And when she is out in the shop, I know what she's like, and I know what her attention span is like. And there is a ton of resistance drilling these Forstner bit holes, especially into end grain, like here and on the hands and feet. That's a lot of pressure. It takes a lot to hold on to those pieces. And you may have noticed that when I drilled the larger cherry pieces for the feet, I actually clamped this to the fence. Now, guys, because of that, I just don't trust that a 5-year-old can do that type of drilling right now without getting injured. So you know your child that you are bringing into the shop. You know if they are capable of being able to drill these holes, and you can judge for yourself whether or not you get them to do this. But I'm trying to make this like a kit for her to assemble. So I want most of the work already done. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to need here, now that we have our head, our body, our hands and our feet, and our neck, we need some rope. And that rope is going to be 1/8 inch diameter rope. And for the rope, I have cut 2 pieces. I have cut one length of 18 inches long. That will be for our arms. And I have one length 22 inches long. That will be for our legs. Now, guys, that is adjustable if you want to. Those are not hardcore measurements. And we may even adjust them a little later on once we put this together and find out how it looks. The next thing that we want to do, because this is pretty much all of the preparations for the body of the marionette, but the next thing that we want to do is make the controller. So let me show you what we're going to do for that. Well, the controller is one of the most simple types of controllers going, and that is the airplane style. And what I have here is just some pine, 3/4 of an inch thick, 1.5 inches wide. This one is 12 inches long. This piece here, our cross piece for our legs, it's same thing, 1.5 inches wide, but it's 9.5 inches long. I've drilled a through hole, 3/8 of an inch in the leg controller, and I have drilled a stopped hole here about 1.5 inches back from the end. And I have a piece of 3/8 diameter dowel. We're just going to glue this in the main controller, and then this will be able to sit over top like this when it's not being used. And then she can remove it and work the legs and then put it back easily. We're not going to bother with the wing nut style like what we did on our other marionette. You want this as simple and user-friendly as possible. Well, guys, this is about all the prep work that I can do. I think she wants to do most of the rest. So what I'm going to do is I actually want to put some laser embellishments here on the robot's body and his head, just for fun and just because I can. And as well, we got to remember young hands are using this. So I'm going to round off all of these sharp edges on all of the marionette pieces and all of the controller pieces. And at that point, you know what? I think we can get the star of our show in here to finish this off.
The first step is to glue the dowel, like this, onto the neck, put some glue in it, and hammer it down like this.
Awesome.
And you've got the neck done.
Say-
For the next step, we're going to head to the drill press.
Okay.
Now, with the help of a grown-up, you need to just be careful, put your safety glasses on, and drill press carefully and drill the hole that we marked earlier. The next step is to put the head to glue the head onto the dowel, and then what we have to do is this.
So we put a little bit of glue.
Only a little bit, guys. Not too much.
Not too much, right? Mm-hmm. All right, you go ahead. Make sure he's facing the front so that his eyes are facing forward. And put his head on there. Perfect. And then you give it a little tap with your hammer to make sure it's, I said a little tap.
So now we'll just put it aside and let it dry. And now we'll have a musical
No, we're not going to have a musical.
while it dries.
Are you done now? No?
So while we're waiting for the glue to dry, we are going to slide our littler piece of rope through a bigger piece of rocks we drilled earlier. And Pop will do it.
Pop will do it?
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll make a knot in the end of the rope so that it cannot pull back through the hole.
So, what we're going to do is we're going to slide the end of the rope through. You have to feed it into this hole. See how it comes out? You have to thread it through all the way till the block comes. Or we could just leave a little space for the block. We're going to put the other feed block onto the rope and feed it in. And tie another knot in the end. And that's the next step. We're now going to add some weight to the feet by using lead shot. We're going to seal it in with some UV resin.
Resin, yeah. So I'll pour this in
Hey,
gently.
a bubble came out.
Yeah, I'll pour this in, and you can use that flower light to make it go hard, okay?
Yeah. Pass me the flower light.
Yep, sure. Just give me a second. Okay.
And you want to do this to both feet to make it heavy.
So she's taking a bit of a break apparently. So now that we have the weight in the feet and the UV resin is dry, you want to set your legs so that they're equal lengths. And what we're going to do is use a little bit more UV resin in the holes to seal in that rope so that they stay the same length and that the rope doesn't shift while you're playing with it. Feet.
Now we are going to assemble the hands with the way we did the feet.
Good job. Okay, and I'll pull it through on the other side and then feed it into the robot's hand. Yeah, and then we got to tie another knot.
Now we are going to put some glue on the knot to keep it from not slipping if you want. But we are not going to do it.
Yes, we are.
No, we're not.
Yes, we are.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Look at me. Yes.
No. Look at me. No.
Sassy.
Sass in the shop. And now, just like we did with the feet, we're going to even up the arms and a little bit of UV resin to seal them in place. Well, we seem to have lost her again, but that's okay because we need to install some eye bolts. So you're going to want to install a small eye bolt in that mark that we put at the center of the top of the head and one in each hand. And once we get that done, we can start stringing this marionette to the controls.
Now we are going to string our marionettes.
And what are we going to use to string it?
Fishing string.
Fishing line, deep sea fishing line.
So now,
and we've added what to our controller as well? Eye bolts.
and a windmill.
That's not a windmill.
It's a windmill.
No, that controls his legs. Okay, so let's get it strung. Okay, so you want to string the head so that when their arm is straight, the puppet is standing straight up, and that would be the right height for the user. So we've got this strung up to the head, and we can put some CA glue on those knots and seal them up.
Hi, I'm a robot.
Okay, let's.
I'm gonna take a walk.
It'll work better once it's got all
we
the
haven't
strings.
we haven't got all the strings done yet.
I cannot take a walk.
Not yet. Soon. So with the height of the head established now, we can easily clamp it to the bench and wire up our hands. The hands will get wired with one string going through this eye bolt in the front, and then the legs will get their own individual strings on this controller eye bolt, and we're just going to tie the string to about the midpoint of each one of our leg ropes to kind of act as a knee joint. And there you have it, a simple robot marionette. Guys, I know that we made a 4-part series on making a marionette not too long ago, but as I said earlier, somebody was really taken with that marionette and wanted a simple one of her own. And this is a great way to get the young ones involved in the shop.
That's me.
That's her. So this is a project which has very little woodworking skill kind of thing. They're just blocks of wood with holes drilled in them. But I would not suggest allowing the young ones to do the Forstner bit holes without some serious clamping. There is way too much torque there. That's too hard to hold on to.
Make sure when you're doing the drill press, tell your child not to put your fingers near it.
Don't put your fingers near it. A good safety tip. So what we're going...
And always wear safety glasses.
Safety glasses is another safety tip. All right. Either way, guys, this is a fun project. It's a quick one. It's one that could be knocked off in an afternoon, provided somebody is cooperative. Other than that, it can take a little longer. But it's a great project, a great way to use up scrap stock, and a fantastic way to get the young ones involved in the shop. Guys, the laser engraving is just a bonus. You don't have to do that. Somebody's dying to paint this one, and if that's what you want to do, then of course that's what you can do. If they want to paint the robot, then there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Paint it white and let them use magic markers to draw their robot face on. It doesn't have to be laser engraved. The methods here are not what's important. What's important is to get the young ones out in the shop and let them have some fun making their own marionette. Okay, do it. Come on, you missed. That's better. Guys, I want to thank you so much for tuning in this week. I hope you've enjoyed the project. This one's been a lot of fun. Someone is a bit of a hard case and has a little bit of a sass to her, but you know what?
Not me, it's Grandma.
Oh, Grandma just got, what's the word? Railroaded. Guys, I want to thank you so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, if you found any part of today's show interesting, fun, informative, likable, funny, why not like and subscribe to the channel? We've got an amazing audience base, and I'm hoping that you're going to consider becoming a part of that. Guys, I want to thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you've enjoyed the content. I hope you're going to get your young ones out in the shop and try to, get them involved in this. And more importantly, I hope you're going to join me again next week when I bring you yet another Woodworking with Ellie video.